In this video, we're going to talk about knowing when to quit. I have a podcast series called Playing to Win, which is a really important dynamic that you need to master as a man in life. But there's also certain times in life where you need to know when to sort of pack it up and quit and call it a day, because it's not going to net you the result that you're looking for. I had a coach and consult the other day with one of my long-term clients, and he's working on a project that isn't really reaping rewards or doesn't look to be having the potential to reap the rewards. Often when I'm in these type of forums, the sorts of discussion we have go along the lines of an experience share, because it's always wiser to learn from the experience of others than to go and make the mistakes yourself. So it's a lot less costly, if I can put it that way. You can get from A to Z a lot quicker through learning from other people's experience. This is also called Gestalt Language Protocol. It's used when you share these experiences. Anyway, so to my personal story, a few years ago, I cooked up this idea of, because I'm always trying to challenge myself. I got into boxing. I did almost 4 years of that, had my fight. I tested myself in that sense, and I got what I wanted out of it. I, around the same time, was contemplating the idea of entering a bodybuilding show, and at my age, competing on the stage against other guys in the same category. So to do that, I hired a personal trainer. The guy that I hired was a former bodybuilder, had also judged competitions. He also happens to manage my health and my hormone replacement therapy and all that sort of stuff. So he was the right dude for me to talk to. So made the announcement. I said, look, this is what I want to do. I said, okay, we can probably get you into decent shape within about 6 to 8 months. I've always been in reasonably good shape. So he goes, let's take a look at you. So, strip right down to sort of my underwear. We take a look at everything to see where we're at. And he starts criticizing and judging me. He's like, look, I'm going to be completely honest with you, because I've done these competitions and I've also had to judge in them as well. He was kind of harsh. He's like, you got no rear delts, your calves are, they need work, you have no fucking hamstrings, your legs are underwhelmed compared to your upper body. He goes right down this rabbit hole. Like, we want to see your arms the same size as your calves. We took some measurements, all sort of stuff. He's like, look, let's start to do some work to see where it goes, to see if we can get the results that we're looking for. Probably 3 to 6 months in, consistent training 3 times a week with him, usually an extra day myself, plus the cardio that I was doing, I slowly started to get results. So I went from about 212 pounds all the way up to, I think, 223. So I put a good solid 10 pounds on within that time frame. And every 3 months, roughly, we started taking measurements to see where we were getting. Now, my upper body's always responded well to weight training and diet and rest and all that sort of stuff, but my legs just don't respond the greatest. And his first critiques were like, your legs just don't look fucking great. You're gonna, like, your upper body's gonna overpower them. So the measurements that we were getting on the upper body, it's like, for example, I'd get an extra 3/4 of an inch on the arms, and my legs I'd get like a 1/4 of an inch, if I was lucky. So I wasn't getting the results that we were looking for. He then started to make other recommendations. So we went hardcore. He's like, look, you're on TRT. He goes, where are you doing the injections? I usually do them in belly fat. He goes, let's do them right into your legs, like right into the areas that we want to improve, like right into the hamstrings, for example. So I would go to the training session. I'd have a back-filled, syringe. He would do it. He would do the injection in the back of my hamstrings because I couldn't reach it. And we started doing that. Again, test and measure. So it's like, you can't manage what you're not measuring. So if that's at least one lesson that you can get out of this video, you've got to measure what it is that you're trying to manage, because if you don't, you're really doing nothing. It's just masturbation. You're spinning your wheels. It's absolutely pointless. You're not getting anything out of it because you're not measuring it. So we started to measure that. Somewhat better results, still not what we needed. And it got to the point where it's like, look, you can try to compete, but you're not even going to come up into the top 2 or 3. You might get lucky and land in 3, depending on who's up there with you. And it's like, I'm looking at the situation from the perspective of, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is doing all of this work to maybe get a few photographs on stage with body paint and all this sort of shit, looking like basically the best that you can look that moment? Many of these guys, when I've talked to them before, friends of mine have competed in bodybuilding shows, are like, yeah, I don't think I'd ever do it again. It's really not worth it. It's too much work just for, it's pretty exhausting is what I get out of it. And then there's other guys that are like just addicted to it, and they'll just do them back to back to back to back. Those are fewer and farther between. But they have like more of an addictive personality, almost a sense of what was called at one point bigorexia. Some of you guys today may not know what that is, but there's this notion for a lot of guys that go to the gym where it's like, it doesn't matter how big they are, they never feel like they're big enough, right? So they just keep training and training and going sort of thing. So there's that. Anyway, so after a sit down, after almost 8 to 10 months of training with my guy, it's like, look, here's the measurements where we're at. And the best that I got was maybe a half-inch improvement on my upper legs, quarter to half-inch on my calves, and my upper body, even though we trained it only once a week and we did the lower body twice a week, still was overpowering my lower. Like, even if I trained it less, I still grew more than my lower body. So it's like, he just gets to the point where it's like, if you want to keep doing this, we'll go, but my time is limited in my schedule with what I got to do. I've got businesses to run, I got family, I got friends, I got all kinds of stuff that I got to take care of. And it's like, I look at it like there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but is the juice worth the squeeze? Am I going to get close to the results or the results that I'm looking for out of this? And it's like, it gets to the point where it's like, probably not. And then the other thing that he said too is like, and this was in the summertime, he's like, you got to stop doing cardio like completely with your legs. Like, no more walking, no running, no cycling. And it's like, part of the reason he said my legs weren't growing, he's like, because you keep doing all this cardio. You know, summertime, I ride my bike a lot, and it's not uncommon for me to hop on the bike on like a Saturday when I got some free time, and I'll put 25 kilometers, you know, like there and back sort of thing. He's like, you need to basically train and then just sit, drink your protein, sleep, rest, wait a few days and train again, and then that might get you the results you're looking. It's like, holy fuck, like I got to go through all of these steps just so I can stand on a stage with body paint and oil and shit to have some photographs that look good with me competing against other guys. It's like, I got to the point where it's like, nah, the juice is not worth the squeeze. So this is an example of how you can evaluate a situation and knowing when it might be ideal for you to quit. I'm not a quitter. I'm a play to win guy, and I like to win in life and things that I challenge myself with. But there comes a point of like diminishing returns where it's like, it doesn't matter how much work you do or how far you're going to go with it and the concessions that you have to make to get what you want out of it. It's like, you know, you have to ask yourself the question, how badly do I want it? And it's like, did I want to like sort of like tick that box off, to have a little notch in my belt to say, you know, challenging yourself in such a way where the accomplishment is worth the work that you put into it? And it's just like, I think the answer to that was a clear no for me, which is why I stopped going through the competitive part of trying to train to get what I needed to go with and just like stick to it more in a recreational sense. I still work out, I still train, I still pick up heavy shit, I still hit the bag from time to time, but I'm not going to give up certain hobbies that I like, you know, trail riding, my bike, because it's just something that I really enjoy. I've always loved two wheels. If you guys have read my book, you know, motorcycles were a thing for me younger. Now it's, you know, I like these trail rides, but that's how you got to evaluate things, guys. You know, you don't want to keep, you know, throwing good money after bad, so to speak, or throwing time and resources into something that its return on investment, like the net ROI, isn't really going to be worth it for you.